For the 2018 Winter Olympics, I'm Victor Blanco.
And I'm Brigada Hernandez.
All right, Brigada, first up, you know you've seen it. Large Mel Kumquat and Mila Throw-A-Bitch. Look at that form. Look at that grace. What are your words?
You know, all I really have to say is this is, if I may be so bold, this is my favorite figure skating duo so far, but it must have taken some real technique to avoid that snail trail.
Stuck that landing, avoided the snail trail.
What
Good
a duo.
commentary. Thank you. Bruschetta.
Next up, a crowd favorite, we have Christy Two Cheeks representing the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yes, Christy's really busting out all the moves this year to bring home gold, dodging all the cracks and really bottoming out that sled. So I know you've seen Russian curler Ivan Dopalov. What are your words, Bruschetta?
Can we even make fun of this, because this is some guy's career ending?
Well, you know, as they say in Russia, the dope curls you. Back to you, gentlemen.
You ready?
Yeah, dude.
Welcome to the weekly hangover. Jesus.
Cut.
Welcome to the weekly hangover. I'm your host, Vince, and yes, I decided to let the chest out.
And I'm your other host, Valley, and we all regret that decision.
Screw you guys. Let's get to the 3 cheers of the week. I'm gonna go ahead and open up with the AllStar Game. Of course, that was the biggest event this past weekend. Team LeBron 148, Team Steph 145. First of all, what do you think about the format?
I enjoyed it. It made for a much more competitive game. I looked at last year, and last year the West scored 192, and this year the East scored 182. Quite a big difference, which means that the players were playing a lot more defense. Felt a little bit more competitive.
Yeah. Well, I saw a little more defense on the back end. I mean, everybody talks about the last 2-3 minutes of the game, which was obviously the best part of the game. But I saw a lot of energy. I saw a lot of energy out of these guys early on. Of course, there were a lot of guys, Jimmy Butler, for example, that didn't want to be there. But the game was exciting overall. It was a high enough scoring game to keep us entertained. But there was enough defense to get us, like you said, almost 100 points less than what they scored last year total between the two teams. I thought it was cool, man. I thought it was a good game. I thought everything worked out the way it needed to be. I know people have been talking about the way the teams were drafted, not being able to see the draft. I know that's something that Adam Silver has talked about maybe implementing next year. Cool idea, good idea. Everything worked out. You think everything was the way it should have been?
Yeah, I would like to see the draft televised. I think it would make for some interesting drama for television, especially. I heard the rumor was that Al Horford and LaMarcus Aldridge were the last 2 picks.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I think we're all asking the same question. Why was Al Horford even picked for the All-Star game? I think he's averaging 10 points and 8 rebounds, something like that. He must be the most liked person in the entire NBA.
Well, he's one of the better players. On one of the best teams in the NBA, so that probably has a lot to do with it. But I wish we can get a side-by-side up if we can. Maybe a producer can help us with that. Check out Bambi, or not Bambi, I'm sorry. There used to be a show on PBS. Used to have a little lamb. And that lamb looks exactly like Al Horford. I kid you not, man. You got to check this out. We'll pull that up for you guys so you guys can take a look at that. But again, format was great. I did hear LaMarcus Aldridge was the absolute last pick in the draft.
I believe it.
Whatever. Spurs are, whatever.
The Spurs aren't about that whole publicity thing. They don't care. He's saving himself for the rest of the season. You know, he got a little banged up in the last couple games. I don't think he was worried one bit.
As a Spurs fan, I didn't have an issue with it. Like you said, we're all about business. We're all about lacing up the shoes and getting it done. So I wasn't too upset about it. But like you said, Al Horford, why was he in the All-Star game? And then to find out, or at least from what I'm hearing, that he was picked even over LaMarcus Aldridge. Maybe I got a little issue about that. But nonetheless, great All-Star game, a lot of fun, a lot of activities. I know a couple days prior to the All-Star game, Friday night we had, or Saturday night, excuse me, the night before, we had some of the skills challenges in the three-point contest. Devin Booker lit it up in that three-point contest.
That was a new record for three-pointers made.
Unbelievable. Whop, 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 whop. He was landing every single
If
every
we
single
can, I would like to play that video of Paul George shooting threes.
in three-point shots, and then of course Donovan Mitchell knocked out that dunk contest. He had a few nice dunks. I thought the one where he brought back down at his waistline off the backboard and up, that one was a nice dunk. But not as entertaining as the last couple of years. I know you had some thoughts about Larry Nance. Too tall for the dunk contest.
It's not that he's too tall. It's just like I don't think he really has that good of a jumping ability. Like he only got about a foot off the ground each time. It was just the fact that his arms and his body are just so big that it's not really a challenge, man. It's like him playing with the Nerf ball on one of those little kid goals. Because he freaking brought that ball all the way back here and could swing it all the way around like a foot off the ground.
Yeah, I thought that one where he came off the baseline and swung all the way around and ended up on the other side of the rim. That one was nice. He didn't get off the ground too much.
I wasn't impressed with
but the way he contorted his body and his arm brought it around the rim, I thought that was sweet.
I was impressed with Mitchell though. Mitchell, he can't palm the ball. He's so small. Yeah. They had issues with that. He couldn't palm it, so he kept dropping it before he could get the ball up.
I know a lot of people thought that Dennis Smith Jr. should have ended up the winning that contest, but nonetheless, Donovan Mitchell. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell for the dunk contest win, but probably your favorite part of the night, Fergalicious. Fergalicious had she's been getting some kind of reception
she gave
online, especially on Twitter and Instagram. They've been killing her. Thoughts?
She gave the black eyed pizza a real black eye. That was awful. But at the end of the clip, she gets real excited and she's like, "Let's play some basketball!" And she yells it. And I don't know why, but people were cheering. I probably would have been booing. That was awful.
Unbelievable. I don't know why you're taking well, listen, it's not just you. It's not just you, and I get it. And I get a lot of people have an issue with the national anthem. She didn't say anything wrong. She didn't miss a line. She didn't miss a word. I don't have an issue with the fact that she was able...
My real issue is with whoever booked her, because this is in LA, and they could have booked anyone in the world, and they booked Fergie. Like, they should have known that was a bad idea from the get.
All right, our second cheer of the week, Winter Olympics. That's still going on.
I think it's 2 or 3 weeks.
I don't know, man. I literally all the information I'm getting from the Winter Olympics is coming from you guys. But anyway, the Winter Olympics right now, the U.S. team is on pace for their lowest medal count ever, I believe. I think 13 it was back in 2014, something like that. Right now we are sitting at 12, so we're not looking good, but we've still got some opportunity for a few more goals. What are your reactions? What are some of the things you're finding you're coming across during these Winter Olympics?
We're just having a real weak year. I'm not like the biggest.
That Winter Olympic team is down this year.
I guess we're not really a winter country. We'll chalk it up to that, because we all know that Americans are winners.
Well, because the best athletes come from the state of Texas, and there's no snow. Well, very little snow in the state of Texas.
That's probably most of it. You can't exactly snowboard here, and let's be real for a minute. Once our hockey team got word that none of our professionals could play, we knew we were gonna have a little bit of an off year. We're playing with a bunch of college kids on our hockey team, and that doesn't bode well. one bit.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not somebody.
It is what it is.
I'm not somebody. I mean, think about it.
It's America, bro.
I'm not somebody who's gonna get up and want to snowboard. And to be honest with you,
You don't want to.
I don't know.
Can't.
No, listen. Well, obviously I can't. I didn't grow up in an area that snows and. But I know you're talking about Emily Sweeney and her. I don't know what you want to call it. I haven't seen it live. I've seen a lot of still shots.
It was a crash. There's a turn.
Tumble.
There's a turn on the loose track that they've been talking about a lot. That's been real dangerous for people, and this girl just lost control and she literally went straight up into the wall, and you see her legs like that. And I was terrified for this young girl, and they said they took about 10 minutes, and she was able to walk away with no broken bones. But I don't know how she doesn't have any broken bones. It was pretty ugly.
Winter Olympics are a lot of fun right now. I'm getting into it. I'm not a huge fan, but right now
You watched
the
curling yet?
Well, yeah, you got to see the curling. You got to see the
that's not the same
snowboarders. You got to see the hockey. Those are the ones that you absolutely have to see. But some of these other sports again, the figure skating, things like that. Cheers to this year's Winter Olympics. All right, in our third cheer of the week, we're gonna. It's hard for me to even talk about it because I think it's so funny. But Laura Ingraham, I think is how you pronounce her name. Abraham, Idiot, something like that.
Laura Idiot. I'll just go with that.
So this young lady has a lot to say. Well,
don't say young. She's
listen,
a grown ass woman.
Unlike her,
talking like a child.
Unlike her, I'm very respectful. But that woman did had a few choice words. Personality was sitting. I guess she was doing some kind of cash cab.
It looked like carpool.
Yeah, some kind of cash cab episode. But anyway, so she's got LeBron and she's got Kevin Durant in the back of the vehicle, and she's asking some questions. Some of the questions, or a lot of the questions, really. I mean, I really thought they were baiting them, but nonetheless, a lot of questions pertaining to our president, our current president. A lot of what he does and a lot of what he's not doing. And they had some choice words. I mean, respectable. I mean, I suppose they weren't disrespecting anybody. They were just giving personal opinion. But this Ingraham, this woman, doesn't think that these guys should have the right to say anything because they're entertainers.
So the real issue that I really have, and I think we can agree that what she did was not okay. Now, what she said was not okay. The real issue, though, is that she's not recognizing that people like LeBron have one of the largest audiences. They have so many people that look and watch what he does on a regular basis. Probably top 10 in the world, you'd say. He's probably one of the top 10 most popular people in the entire world. And
right below me, yeah.
He has a huge huge opportunity to impact younger people and not even just younger people, everybody. And she basically was telling him that that's not okay, that he doesn't know what he's talking about, that he's not a credible person to say that. Change doesn't happen until people are talking about it and open with their ideas and are willing to really get into the matter and learn from both sides, find a good middle ground for everything. That's how we learn and grow as a society. And where she's going wrong is, yes, she's starting a discussion, but she's starting a discussion by saying that I'm right and that you're wrong, which is not how it works. Like, you have to go from both sides to start this. Right,
is what it is. But anyway, that goes to our third cheers of the night. All right, so let's get into our 2 cents of the week. We're gonna open up with Johnny Manziel on the road to getting back to stardom in his comeback season. Tired of sitting on the couch, I guess. What's going on with Johnny Manziel? About to come back, win a Super Bowl?
I don't know about coming back. Honestly, I think it's a little bit late for him. As a quarterback is the single hardest. In my opinion, the quarterback is the single hardest position to play in all of sports. And if you haven't played that position in 2 years, you coming back doesn't look too hot. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to have a nice 5, 6, 7 year career in this Canadian Football League, and then he'll just fizzle out from our lives.
Not even a chance in the NFL?
He might get signed. He might get Tim Tebow'd. Like, he might get like this little short contract to be a backup, but I don't think so. He is a good baseball player. He really could follow in Tim Tebow's steps. He was an All-State down at Criminal Tybee apparently for baseball. So if baseball has shown me anything, that's one of the sports that you can take some time off of and still get back into.
Well, I don't think Johnny Manziel is going to be a baseball player, for one.
I don't think he's going to be a football player.
I think he'd be... And I don't think... There's no way. There's no way you sit out 2, 3... Or going on 3 years. It's going to be 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you sit out 3 years and come back and be a productive quarterback in the NFL. There's no way.
Let's break down what he did while he was in the NFL before we go any further. I wanna compare that to what our expectations would be. So he started 8 games, went 2-6, 57% for 1,675 yards, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So by the looks of it, mediocre quarterback, middle of the road, and I just don't see him really like improving from that. You know,
taking that much time off is gonna hurt. I mean, he's not coming off an injury, so maybe we can look at that differently. But he's not coming off an injury. He's not coming off of a blown knee, a blown Achilles, a blown shoulder. He's not coming off of something like that. So maybe we're underestimating him right now in his abilities, because he's always been an athlete. He's always been very athletic.
Yeah.
He's always been very mobile. He's always been somebody who could escape the pocket when he needed to, and maybe he still got it. He'll actually be playing locally. He'll be playing in a league. I guess it's a developmental league.
it's a developmental spring league.
Spring league in Austin. It's actually nearby. We're in San Antonio, Austin, nearby, about an hour away. But it's a developmental league where kids that either were on the fringe of getting invited to a combine or were on the fringe of getting drafted, they're invited over to this spring league, if you will. And they get to showcase in front of a lot of scouts. So it's very possible that he can make a roster coming out of this spring league, but there's no way, man. 2 years or 3 years, going on 3 years, away from the top level of the game is going to be way too much to overcome. I don't care how athletic you are, and he was never really productive in 14 total games. He was a 7-7 quarterback, 7 touchdowns to 7 interceptions.
So on the Good Morning America thing that Johnny Manziel did, he mentioned that he's been self-medicating with alcohol and that he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I just want to get your thoughts before I chime in too much. What do you think? Do you buy it?
Well, I've got a PhD in bullshit, but I have no idea what bipolar is. I don't know how you diagnose it. I don't know how you decipher who is and who isn't. But apparently he is, and from what I can tell, it's his excuse for why he was drinking and why he was so fond of cocaine. But buying it, I mean, I don't know. I guess you grow up. I mean, he really was. He was a young guy with a lot of fame, a lot of notoriety. Everybody knew him, and he could get away with a lot. He comes from a very wealthy family, so he was already used to that kind of treatment. And so I don't think it was too far for what it was going to end up leading to, and that's what ended up happening with Johnny Manziel. But people grow up. People finally get to that point where they say that it's enough. And there was a time where I could do a cake stand for about 25 seconds. Look it up. It's on YouTube somewhere. But I could knock out, and party with the best of them, and that's definitely where Johnny Manziel was at one point. But maybe he grew up. Maybe he's starting to realize that I don't have that much time left. My body doesn't have enough time or that much time left to be productive in the NFL, and why not make a stab at it now? So as far as believing him, yes, I believe him. I think he's finally gotten to that point in his life.
Yeah, I'll buy it. I think that he hit rock bottom at some point, and this is him turning around. The fact that he says he stopped drinking, I don't know if I buy all that. I don't think he just stopped cold turkey like that. He did go to rehab at one point, but I'm not buying all that. I think he grew up. He matured a lot. He realized he lost everything. He had a chance to do a lot with his life. He ran out of money. He ran out of everything. He ran out of support. Even his family stopped supporting him, and then he realized that if he ever wants to do anything with his life, that he's gonna have to fix himself. So I'll buy it, but I still hear excuses. I don't. I'll believe it when I see it. For right now, that's just an excuse to me that he's gonna use to convince owners and coaches that he's ready to play in the NFL. But
Well,
I'll let him. I won't pass any more judgment than I already have until I see him on a playing field for more than a game or two.
only time will tell. Johnny Manziel comeback season. Hopefully he does it, and hopefully he represents the San Antonio area in doing so. The Spurs right now, we're sitting pretty in the third in the with the third best record in the West, although it's only a 4-game difference out of ninth place. But we're 35-24. We've got a losing record on the road, but we're killing it at home. What's the Spurs outlook for the remainder of the year?
Well, it's really cloudy. We don't know what's gonna happen with Kawhi Leonard and Rudy Gay. I think that scares a lot of Spurs fans because without Kawhi Leonard, we're definitely I'm gonna say it. Let me say it even better. Without Kawhi Leonard and Greg Popovich, we're a 500 team at best. Greg Popovich has been getting the best out of what we have right now, but I mean we've been losing games that we regularly win. Granted, this rodeo road trip is a little rough. Utah and Denver are no joke. But we still should be doing a lot better. So really, the rest of the season is predicated on when or if we get Kawhi Leonard back.
Well, last year we were damn near a 50-win team by All-Star break, and so that just shows you the difference between having Kawhi Leonard and not having Kawhi Leonard. The guy's a 15-20 extra or plus wins with Kawhi Leonard on the court, and so it hurts us to not have him on the court. And I know we're in third place, and third place is only a 4-game difference out of ninth place, so we're not that far out of even of not making the playoffs. And so it's concerning right now. What also has me concerned is recently LaMarcus Aldridge after the All-Star game was getting interviewed, and he says something a little funny. We'll try to find the clip on it if we can. He essentially says, yeah, we're excited for the remainder of the year. We're gonna come out. We're gonna play hard. We're excited to have Rudy Gay back, I need to continue to play where I've been playing. No mention of Kawhi Leonard. He talks about getting healthy and Rudy Gay coming back soon, but no mention of Kawhi Leonard. It scares me. It definitely scares me. It makes it sound like Kawhi Leonard's not like LaMarcus Aldridge has an inside view of what's going on, and it sounds like Kawhi Leonard's not coming back for the remainder of the year. That's concerning because it's going to be a waste of year, and as a Spurs fan, I hate going through that.
Yeah, it's unprecedented for us to think that we might not make the playoffs. Have we ever not made the playoffs? I think in the entire franchise history, it's only one year they didn't make the playoffs, and that was the year we drafted Tim Duncan. So, I mean, it's unbelievable that that might actually happen. But with Aldridge's comments, I'm gonna give us the benefit of the doubt and say that we're reading a little bit too much into it. I think he just didn't mention Kawhi Leonard.
Pop is very transparent. That's what makes him a good coach. He's very transparent. He's going to be straightforward about it. If Pop knows that Kawhi Leonard is not going to be on the court, then he's already relayed this to his team, in my opinion. I definitely don't think it's kept between the three top brass.
I think what's more likely is that he's telling them not to get their hopes up. He's saying, let's be realistic. There is this opportunity that he might not come back this year.
Now we're third in the West. I know I touched on that earlier. We're 10 games out of first place, 9.5 games out of second place. So we're pretty far behind first and second place right now, Houston and Golden State respectively. So we're a little bit far. We're a little bit behind. Essentially, right now we're fighting for a playoff spot. God forbid Kawhi doesn't come back this year. It's going to be a tough year if that happens. If he does come back, we're in playoff contention. We make the playoffs. and we could beat anybody in the playoffs,
No,
or
and
most anybody in the playoffs, I should say.
Hopefully he comes back though, and he's it doesn't take too long to play like his former self. There's still going to be a little bit of a learning curve when he comes back. You know.
What I like what's going on now is that Pop is playing a lot of the younger guys. Derek White's getting a lot of minutes. DeJounte Murray's getting a lot of minutes. Tony's finding his role on the bench. Manu's going to need some time to get fully healthy from the ankle situation, and Rudy Gay's going to be coming back here pretty soon. We're getting there. We're getting a lot of young guys, a lot of good minutes, and I feel like we're eventually going to get to the point where Kawhi is healthy enough to come back, and we're sitting pretty at maybe 4 or 5 seed in the playoffs, and we have to go to work from there. They finished 4th on the West. What's your prediction?
I think they're going to stay in the 3rd position. The teams trailing us right now are the Pelicans, the Clippers, and the Jazz. While I can see the Jazz making a run up there, I think New Orleans, they're so high right now because Anthony Davis is playing MVP level, but he'll come back down to earth. He's going to get a little bit of road weary from the amount of time they've been playing, and I don't trust the Clippers. I don't even trust them being in the playoffs by the end of the season. I think they might fall out. A team like Denver might come back in, or I don't know if I'm trying to think that Portland might be the 9th seed. I can't remember at the top of my head right now.
But you're making a lot of good points. There's a lot of these teams with a lot of young talent that can make a run, and it's going to be exciting to see how it finishes. But I think they finish in 4th. I think we make the playoffs, and I think a first round matchup with a number 5 seed is a toss up, and then we go from there. Good old billionaire Mark Cuban is basically saying that he wants to tank the year, is it not? I mean,
he's having some
pretty straightforward
he
about
had
it.
some interesting comments that he told whoever it was on his podcast. He basically told them that he told the team that losing is in our best interest. I don't think that he told them to tank, but I think he because you wouldn't tell that because no NBA player is going to go out there and give less than 100% in a game. They're fighting for a contract next year. A lot of these guys, they're going to go out there and play hard. Hopefully that if their own team doesn't pick them up, somebody else will. So I don't think that he told them to tank, but I think they know that losing will benefit them more for the guys that come back next year.
I wish I was a billionaire, bro. If I was a billionaire, if I had $1 billion, the first thing I would buy is a chocolate fountain. All right, we're going to go right into, what's her name?
Who?
Laura
Ingraham? Ingraham? I don't know her name. Let's just make fun of her because
Okay.
she's stupid anyway.
All right.